Добър вечер на всички.
Добър вечер.
Аз направих едно бързо проучване и се оказа, че българското любезно закъснение е 15 минути, гръцкото е 15 минути, македонското е 15 минути, софийското е 15 минути, не разбрах колко е пловдивското. Окей, защото норвежкото е 30 минути. Окей.
I made my two pieces of research and it turns out that the being late, admissible period for being late in Sofia is 15 minutes, in Greece is 15 minutes, in Norway is 30 minutes, and the question was how long is it in Plovdiv, and the answer from the audience was 45 minutes.
With that being said, it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Elizabeth from Elizabeth Kostova Foundation, a very small and very mighty, literary non-for-profit that creates a nexus between Bulgaria and the Anglophone world.
Здравейте, аз съм Елена Делева от Фондация Елизабет Костова, една малка, но мощна неправителствена организация, която изгражда мост между България и англофонския свят.
SPA, this project, or Sofia Poetically animated, is a new addition and extension to this very focused work of ours in a way that it allows for cross-proliferation between different art disciplines and also instigates collaboration between non-Anglophone EU countries. And in a moment, I will introduce all participants.
SPA, София поетически анимирана, този проект е допълнение и разширение на тази строга финансирана дейност, която подпомага и създава пространство, в което взаимно се обогатяват различните изкуства. С тази разлика, че в този проект участват творци и от различни европейски държави.
Five writers, a visual artist and a musician. The writers, Christos Ikonomou, a writer from Greece, Dimitar, Shopov, visual artist from Bulgaria, a writer from Norway, Dimitrov, Bulgarian writer, Rossen, a writer from Ireland, Rossen, Zahariev, Bulgarian musician and composer, and Vladimir Martinovski, a writer from Macedonia.
Да представя участниците: Christos Ikonomou, писател от Гърция, Димитар Шопов, визуален артист от Пловдив, Еди Попи, писателка от Норвегия, Иван Димитров, писател от България, Роб Дойл от Ирландия, Росен Захариев, музикант, и Владимир Мартиновски от Македония.
I would like to thank many organizations and people, and foremost Plovdiv 2019 Foundation, and first of all for opening their program for the cities that compete but didn't win. And also I'd like to thank Sofia Cultural Program at Sofia Municipality, the Irish Embassy, and special thanks to two schools that we started doing arts in the classroom with. That's 22nd School Ikonomou Vazov in Plovdiv, and another school, Georgi, Rakovski in Sofia.
Искам специално да изразя благодарност на Фондация Plovdiv 2019 за това, че ни предостави терен за изявата, както и на Софийска община, културната програма на Софийска община, на посолството на Ирландия и на двете гимназии, 22 езикова гимназия Георги Раковски в София и езикова гимназия Иван Вазов в Пловдив.
Many thanks to Simona Ilieva, our wonderful coordinator, and Victoria Kostova, our intern. If you by any chance still have these notes with the words, and please give them either to Simona or to Victoria.
Искам специално да благодаря на Симона Илиева, нашия прекрасен координатор, и Виктория Костова, наша стажанка. Ако още държите листчета, на които сте написали думи, моля да ги предадете.
And finally, after the performance, we'll create some time for Q&A with the audience. So I hope you have a question. We have interpreter, and thank to Zlatka Черненко also for her interpretation.
И накрая, след перформанса, ще има сесия с възможност за задаване на въпроси. Може да разполагате и с преводач. Златка Черненко.
You're wondering how it all started, aren't you? It starts like this. I am born with the umbilical cord twisted 3 times around my neck. I am wished for, but maybe I don't wish for it myself this life. I'm from a fine family. Not fine in the sense of bourgeois, but fine in the sense of secure and loving. And nothing ever happens here and nothing ever will kind of family. We talk with quiet voices, don't bang the doors, eat up all our food. Or rather, I pretend to finish it all up, but in reality, it becomes pieces in my mouth, impossible to chew. I hide them in flower pots, behind curtains. I am a little girl picking her nose in the darkness of her room, smearing the snot under the mattress. I am like that, and nobody has any clue who I am. Jeg en liten jente som piller seg i nesen i mørket på rommet sitt, og smører klysen under madrassen. Jeg sånn, og det ingen som aner hvem jeg I'm angry with Dad because he's not black. I want him to be black so that I can be a mulatto. It's the most beautiful thing I know. I color my blonde, blue-eyed doll black, getting my own black doll. I have never seen a black person in my whole life, except for on television. Bortsett fra på TV. Bortsett fra på TV. I grew up on a farm in the end of the 70s, inland. When the other kids go on summer vacation, we are at home looking after the wheat. I don't understand why we have to look after the wheat. It's just standing there. I look for an answer. When it starts to rain, I run around in the fields with my umbrella, trying to keep it dry. I'm scared it's going to drown. I'm not good enough. I get a bad conscience. I stop eating, want Dad to punish me. But Dad says the wheat needs the rain. When the sun starts to shine again, I run around with Mother's watering can. Another thing I do is to wait for the phone to ring, wishing for it to be my grandfather's cousin, inviting us to her old derelict hut by the ocean. She calls for us every summer, but we never know when. I wait and wait. The first thing I do when we finally arrive is to run to the outdoor toilet and check if the frog called Herr Anderson is still alive. He's very tiny and I'm very scared, always. I poo in my pants constantly, look at tadpoles and poke them with a stick. I swim in salty water, lie on my back, float, as if I were dead, burn myself on medusas. I always long for this, and still I am bored. Once I fall down from a tree and have to have 7 stitches sewn under my eye. The same summer, on the drive back, I write in my diary that I want to try heroin. I want to try heroin just like Nico from the Velvet Underground and Nico. That record with a yellow banana on the cover, do you know which one I mean? I have no clue about heroin. All the books I read are either about incest, rape or drugs. My favorite book is Christiane F. I like the film too. I found her so beautiful, that young girl that destroys herself at Bahnhof Zoo in Berlin. I also want to destroy myself at Bahnhof Zoo in Berlin, while David Bowie sings Heroes in the background, and I am Die Young, Stay Pretty, Forever. Favorittboka mi er Christiane F. Jeg liker filmen også. Jeg synes hun er så vakker, hun unge jenta som går til grunne på Bahnhof Zoo i Berlin. Jeg vil også gå til grunne på Bahnhof Zoo i Berlin, mens David Bowie synger Heroes i bakgrunnen, og jeg er Die Young, Stay Pretty, Forever.
When you are gone, I suddenly turn into a sunflower without the sun, in a book without letters, home without doors, rain without drops, a double bass with no strings, a tricycle without the front wheel, a clock without hands, a verse without an Asian metric foot, into chocolate without the cocoa, a city with no boulevard, a giraffe without a neck, an orchestra with no conductor, a condor without feathers, a street without a footway, into a sculpture with neither a head nor a pedestal. When you are gone, I'm a nut without the kernel, a bee without a drop of honey, or a selfish little cricket that misplays its violin. And when I'm with you, I'm merely a man who conceals so really all the things he used to be.
Waves fell on the shore like shipwrecked men, broken spirited, disheartened and weak. one after another, with clipped moss, small size, one after another. The squall had begun to die down in mid-afternoon, and now the sun was shaping a huge burning hourglass over the calm waters, which were full of seaweed and branches and pine cones and tin cans and plastic bags and broken fish crates. Thin bleached sticks like the bones of fish that had been eaten by bigger fish. But in the distance, past the mouth of the bay, the clouds had started to turn red again and to sink low over the sea, growing and growing until they once more snuffed out the horizon. It was past 7, but the machines were still at work. A hum rose from deep in the mountain's guts, disturbing the tranquility of the landscape. Eminent domain. Look at that, he told her, pointing to the hourglass. If I had a boat, I will take you to where the water becomes fire, and you grab them both in your hands and hold them, the water and the fire too, both together, water and fire. Wouldn't that be nice? Nikki shoot a fly from her knee and threw her head back and looked upside down at the cloud of dust rising between the blackened slopes of the mountain. But you don't have a boat, she said. You don't even have an oar. You don't have anything. He didn't reply. Eminent domain. He kept his arms stretched out, hand in a ball, index finger pointing, and let his mind wander to heroic thoughts. He imagined he was a warrior leading a troop of other warriors, pointing to the object of some daring mission, an enemy stronghold they had to conquer at all costs. Sorry, he said. She turned to look straight forward again and stirred the ice in her drink with a finger and took a sip. I didn't mean it. That you don't have anything. I didn't mean it. You got words, that's for sure. And imagination. Go on, I'm listening. What kind of boat will it be? Rowboat or sailboat? Motorboat? Tell me, I'm listening. How long has it been since you told me a story? Talk to me, talk.
As soon as we're home again, I sneak down to Luna, a river filled with secret pools one can sit in, close to my farm. I want to sit in one. But before I had the chance to get in, a flasher jumped out from behind a bush. He has an erect penis. I have never seen an erect penis before. Except in the books no one knows I borrow from the library, and in the forbidden films no one knows I watch. The ones I find deepest inside my father's closet, under all his socks. What shocks me the most when I'm watching these films is that the naked men always keep their socks on. I hate hairy naked men with tennis socks. Jeg hater hårete nakne menn med tennissokker. Luckily the flasher is no such man. He walks barefoot, points at his dick and asks if I can roll a condom on it. I have no clue what a condom is. He shows me how it's supposed to be done, so I do it mechanically. I am obedient, well-behaved, I talk to strangers, eat sweets from their pockets, sit on their laps, sit in their cars, ride away. Jeg lydig, veloppdragen. Jeg snakker med fremmede, spiser godteriene fra lommene deres, setter meg på fangene deres, setter meg inn I bilene deres, suser av gårde. I go to school, go berserk, get good grades, get my way, get my own key, get beaten up. Every day on my way through the forest to school, I get beaten up. I get beaten up, and the neighbor boy Geir beats on my door. He wants to play. Once he brings a doll tea service, he wants to play with it together with me. I pick up the tiny porcelain cups and porcelain plates, and then I break them one by one while Geir watches. He starts crying, but there is nothing to worry about. Dad glues the whole thing together again with super glue. Here Dad says proudly, now it's as if it never happened. Only when I break them all for the second time do I get grounded. I like being inside my room. After Dad has given me leftovers from dinner on a tiny plate, forced blood sausage and a spoon of cod liver oil down my throat, Mother sneaks into my room with a piece of cake and a glass of blackcurrant squash. Mom doesn't understand anything. I pour the squash on the cake, mash it with a fork and smear it into my face. I prepare a tiny note and hang it outside my door. Don't disturb. I scribble down the letters so hard the paper gets hole in it. I'm pretending that my nursery is a simple hotel room in concrete, an airport hotel, and can be anywhere in the world. In here I can do as I want. Rommet mitt et enkelt betonghotell, et airport-hotell, og kan nå være hvor som helst I verden. Her kan jeg drive med mitt.
буди како шаховска фигура. Не знае дали е топ, пион, конј или ловец. Знае само дека не е ни крал, ни кралица. Не знае дали е црна или бела фигура. И дали е веќе одлучено да падне курбан за некоја необјаснива, но повисока цел. Знае само дека мора да чека некој друг да одлучи каде и кога да кини се. Штрк се буди како човек. Од празните гнезда сваќа дека сите негови блиски веќе некаде одлетале. Оди во првата продавница и си купува бели алишта. Додека вечера жаби копани упорно гледа во небото. Се буди како октопот. Се прашува што ли да прави со толку многу раце. Со едната ќе ги фаќам харпуните в лед, си вели. Со другата фрленото ѓубре. Со третата ќе негодувам против сите неправди на светот. Со четвртата ќе милувам без прекин. Со петтата ќе му покажувам патот на сите што заталкале. Со шестата ќе пливам. Со седмата ќе танцувам. А со осмата ќе го чистам стаклото на аквариумот.
They were sitting under the old olive tree in the garden, drinking martinis out of plastic cups. That morning, they had sent off the last of their things by truck. All that was left was a single suitcase and an old mattress for them to sleep on that night, their last in their house. Eminent domain. They had been living in that house for 5 years. 5 whole years. It was the nicest house they had ever lived in. A real house, the kind they don't build anymore. There wasn't another like it in all of Salamina. Old, sure, but solid as a fort, with stone walls like ramparts, wooden beams, a tile roof, huge rooms, cool in the summer, warm in winter, with fireplaces and a cellar and big windows that looked onto the sea. And around the house, an enormous garden, an estate really, with olive and orange trees, pine trees, and eucalyptus trees that on summer afternoons cast their shadows over the low stone wall. In the sunny gaps between sail, lizards lay motionless, gathering sun to warm themselves, small ones and big ones, all of them green, salamanders and geckos with bulging eyes and long shiny tails. Eminent domain. They were expropriating the property. The new road to the port on the far side of the island, behind the mountain, would pass through here. The guy who owned the place hadn't fought it at all. He didn't care. It was a lot of money and he lived abroad. He was a foreigner now. He's upgraded to Belgium or Germany a long time ago. He hadn't set foot on the island in years. Eminent domain.
When I'm older, I often go to hotels like these, hang a do not disturb sign outside my door. I call men, pay, decide that they shall come and whip me, that they shall humiliate me, that they shall tie me up and rape me, but it doesn't help. I get this longing in my body, a longing to go to a park at night in very short clothes, or up along the river of Aker, where everyone is stealing dough. I dream about getting beaten up and torn into pieces, like in the books I read in my youth. I dream about getting taken in all possible holes at once, and then thrown away like rubbish. I dream that it will happen for real. I should feel ashamed. I try to feel ashamed. I am privileged. I do anything I can to feel ashamed. I don't manage to feel ashamed enough. I think about everyone getting raped for real, getting beaten up and torn into pieces, thrown away like rubbish. Everyone I read about in the paper. I listen to the dark side of the moon as if it were a portrait of me. But when I look outside the window, the sun is shining, always. Jeg lytter til The Dark Side of the Moon som om det var et portrett av meg. Og når jeg ser ut av vinduet, skinner sola alltid. Then I meet X. Then it finally gets dark for real. You're wondering what I mean by that, aren't you? Du lurer på hva jeg mener med det, gjør du ikke? Dark, the way it only gets outside of the cities. Far away, where no one can be bothered to put up lampposts anymore, where there is nothing but stars, phosphorescence, fireflies and moonlight in the night, where the houses are so far apart that no one believes they are alone in the world, where there is only one hotel and one wonders how someone could possibly have had the idea to put up a hotel here where no one ever passes by. That kind of darkness, do you understand now? Så mørkt, forstår du nå? In a strange place like this, there is still always tidy bed getting untidied, newly sprinkled sheet getting dirtied, crumpled together, falling down on the floor. Menstruation stains, sperm stains, tears and alcohol. Every day my sheets are getting cleaned and my bed tidied again. My story with X starts here. In such a hotel, in such a place, because someone passed by after all. Because someone always passes by in the end. Historien med X starter her, på et sånt sted, et sånt hotell. Fordi noen likevel reiste forbi. Fordi noen likevel alltid reiser forbi.
Podujeni kako tikvi pred pukanje, Двата куфера чекаат среде ходникот. За многу алишта, книги и дреболии немаше место. Ги враќаме во плакарите, по витрините. Во сите нив, како за миг да се всели некое немо, неискажливо чувство. Може би тагата на сите оние за кои немало место во големиот куфер на Ное. Swollen like pumpkins about to burst, the two suitcases stand in the middle of the lobby. No room for so many pieces of clothes, books, and knickknacks. We put them back in the closets, on the shelves. All of them, in an instant, are infused with a silent, inexpressible emotion. Perhaps that very sorrow felt by all those for whom there was no room in Noah's big suitcase.
At night, the locals came and took stones from the wall around the property. They came with pickup trucks and brought tools to loosen the stones and casually load them on the beds of their trucks, slow and easy, taking their time. They were beautiful stones, big, solid, hand-chiseled slabs. They made you happy to look at and touch. The first night the locals came, he yelled at them. "Get lost, you buzzards," he shouted. "You buzzards, you crows, aren't you a saint? There are still people living here. Get lost. Buzzards, get out of here." He shouted and cursed, and at one point it almost came to blows. But eventually he got tired of shouting and cursing and fighting. What was the point? What difference did it make today or tomorrow? What was the point? A soul that's ready to live will live. No use wasting our energy, he told Mickey. We need to keep something in reserve for the future, for whatever is stored for us up there. It's a tactical move, you see. Έφευγαν για το Kyustendil πάνω στη Βουλγαρία. They were leaving for Kyustendil, up in Bulgaria. A friend of a friend had opened a hotel up there and was looking for employees. He didn't trust the locals. He was looking for people he could depend on, without obligations, willing to work hard. The money was good for Bulgaria at any rate. They thought it over pretty hard, discussed it, and in the end, they said they'd give it a shot. He'd been the one to insist. He thought they should go. It's an opportunity, he told Nick. You see what's happening here. There's no way of getting ahead. It's over, we are over. It used to be that you worked your whole life for a bit of bread. Now you work for a handful of crumbles. It's Bulgaria, sure, but that doesn't bother me. They say it's nice up there. Countryside, mountains, rivers, forests. There are hot springs and cherries. People say they grow the best cherries in the world up there. Lord, fresh cherries and waterfalls. Here you can't even drink from the tap anymore. We spend 50 euros a month just on bottled water. It's over here, it's all over. You can't get ahead. I say we go. It can't be worse than here.
I am here because I'm singing in a band. I can't sing, and still I'm the one singing in the band. It's my strength, the false note. This thing in me that can't get it right, that always hits off key. We play covers. I am the one choosing, singing Heroes, Venus in Furs and the Dark Side of the Moon, to hard music, theremin and drums. If you ever were in such a hotel and saw a woman with fair, untidy hair and far too short clothes, wiggling herself against the microphone while singing wrong notes without it being karaoke, well, then you probably saw me. It's on a night like this, after a concert like this, when you've gone to bed maybe, that I go down to the restaurant. The food service is closed, but one can still drink. I am bored. I order one vodka shot after the other. Then I sit down on a table together with some businessmen from Eastern Europe. I don't understand what they're saying, and this that I don't understand them makes me have the strength to talk to them. I sit down next to the Ukrainian one. I look at him, look at his stiff shirt collar, his strong thighs, his straight nose and high cheekbones. I speak pretend Russian, like I did when I was little. Everyone laughs, so I talk more, louder, scream almost. I can't manage to stop. When nobody can see it, the Ukrainian man grabs my hand under the table and presses it together till it hurts. Then he looks intensely back at me. I stop talking, unsure if this is actually happening. Some hours later, as I'm weaving unevenly up the stairs to my hotel room, the Ukrainian man pushes me inside, grabs me by the throat, covers my mouth and hits me in all possible places except the face. He tells me in his broken English that it is to prevent me from having difficulties explaining myself tomorrow. I twist and turn, but he is stronger. Only when he's about to force his hand inside my knickers do I manage to push it away. And what happens then surprises me, disappoints me, places me totally outside myself. The Ukrainian man stops at once and walks away. I lie there shivering, the duvet between my legs, with whatever between my legs, with a piece of soap between my legs. Something has opened up in me, an abyss, my personal Bahnhof Zoo. Jeg blir liggende igjen og skjelve, med dyna mellom beina, med hva som helst mellom beina, med et såpestykke mellom beina. Noe har åpnet seg opp i meg, en avgrunn, et personlig Bahnhof Zoo. The next days we only meet randomly down in the bar together with the others. The incident is never mentioned. But sometimes he grabs my hand, holds my face, things like that, while he stares, and never when someone is watching. But one night he comes to my room again, and then I no longer remove his hand. Instead I let him do what he wants, what I want. I am longing for him to be maltreated, beaten up. My heart beats, my pulse too. I don't stop him. Afterwards, I cannot walk for several days. I like it, this physical memory from the Ukrainian man. But when I finally manage to drag myself down to the reception, I am told he has gone. He hasn't left anything for me. No name, no address, only a broken rib to remember him by. You're wondering what I do after that, aren't you? Du lurer på hva jeg gjør etter det, gjør du ikke? I stay in the hotel, waiting till long after my gig commission has ended, till I've used all my money, till I'm far below minus, till the band and I have disintegrated, a pill in a glass of water, en pille i et vannglass. No more dark side of the moon, I suddenly think, and believe I can start afresh at zero. If only I get a proper job, a proper place to live, and a proper boyfriend. And then I get all of this. No more dark side of the moon, tenker jeg plutselig, og tror at jeg kan begynne på nytt, på null. Bare jeg får meg en ordentlig jobb, et ordentlig sted å bo, og en ordentlig kjæreste. Og så får jeg alt det.
Ве молиме, врзете ги појасите. Влегуваме во зона на силни турбуленции. Ни вели глас во бас со доза на вознемиреност. Како ученичиња, сите послушно се врзуваме и пак им се враќаме на лесниците и на книгите. Не баре ништо не засега. Ама затресува моќно, како да има луња, земјотрес, поплава, техножурка, воена парада и предвремени избори во Истобрган. Паѓаат чаши и куфери. Се препнува една стюардеса. На нашите глави како облачиња од стрип се мешаат фрагменти од молитви, заклетви, благослови и аманети. Хорот бебиња вреска. Некој мантра Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна, Харе Кришна. Некој голта апчиња, а некој посега по мобилниот за да напише проштална порака. А потоа се смирува. Како ништо да не било. Сепак молчиме и дишиме поинако од претходно. Некако подлабоко. Со едно тивко фала во секој нов здив. Please fasten your seatbelts. We are entering a zone of strong turbulences. A deep voice with poise tells us, though with a hint of concern. Like schoolboys, we follow orders and buckle up and return to our magazines and books. As if we haven't got a care in the world. Yet we get a mighty jolt as if we are living through a storm, a quake, a flood, a techno-rave, a military parade and snap elections all at the same time. Cups and cases drop all around. A flight attendant trips over, above our heads, popping up like clouds in comics, a vortex of fragments of prayers, woes, blessings and last words. A chore of babies screaming. Some chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Some pop pills, some reach for their phones to text a farewell message. And then it all calms down, as if nothing has happened. Yet we are all quiet and breathe rather differently than before. More profound, with a silent thank you with every new breath.
They gave me a card at the bank, she said. He put his sunglasses back on and looked at the hourglass over the water. He had shrunk by half and didn't look anything like an hourglass anymore. 6,000 with no annual fees, so I'll buy you a boat, he said. Nothing fancy, but to do the job. We'll be fine making the payments. I'm not that useless, I can pay off a credit card. How does that sound? I'll find a place where we can leave it, and in the summer when we come back here, we'll have a new boat waiting for us. I'll start playing the lotto too. I'm sure they have stuff like that up there. There is no place that doesn't have lotto. You'll see. I can't buy back all the years that have passed, but I can buy you a piece of tomorrow. You'll see. It's enough if we are together and happy. Love and faith bring luck. You'll see. She opened her eyes and looked at him sideways, then looked at his glass at the bottle sitting by his feet. She laughed. What did you say? Nothing. What you say? Nothing. But you said something.
Now I'm lying in bed together with you. I have never loved someone that highly, I confess, as I'm stroking your back. We have decided to tell one another everything, you and I, without taking care, without thinking of the consequences. We want to know everything about each other. Even what we don't want to know about each other, we want to know about each other, we have decided. We want to love everything about one another, we have said. Even what we can't love about each other, we want to love about each other, we have promised. Because now I'm someone other than I used to be. The one I used to be is a secret I don't tell anybody, but that I still have decided to tell to you. I say that I want you to beat me up like the Ukrainian man did. That I want you to hit my vulva with your fist till it swells and becomes the double of its original size, till it becomes black. That I want you to tie me to a chair and force me to watch porn for a whole night. Or that you should stick a broom up my ass so it almost drips. That I want you to sleep with my best friends and that you should talk about other women constantly, humiliate me whilst others are listening. that I want you to destroy my self-esteem, my life, and make me become a bare shadow of myself. Jeg sier at jeg vil at du skal banke meg opp, slik den ukrainske mannen gjorde. At jeg vil at du skal slå kjønnet mitt med knyttneven til det hovner og blir til det dobbelte av sin opprinnelige størrelse, til det blir svart. At jeg vil at du skal binde meg fast til en stol og tvinge meg til å se porno en hel natt, eller at du skal stikke en kost inn i rumpa mi så den nesten revner. At jeg vil at du skal ligge med bestevenninnene mine, og at du skal snakke om andre damer konstant, fornedre meg mens andre hører på. At jeg vil at du skal ødelegge selvbildet mitt, livet mitt, og gjøre meg til en skygge av meg selv. Jeg spør om vi kan begynne nå med det samme. I ask if we can start immediately. You ask, now? You repeat, now? Really? As if it were a question of time. You look in your diary. You have an appointment in 2 hours. You just have to, and then you just have to, and then just shh, I say. You don't understand what I'm talking about, so you laugh. You suddenly have a laugh-induced stitch. You can't stop. Think I was joking, maybe. We decide that I was joking. It's easier that way. You are relieved. Ask what I want for breakfast. Wonder how I want my eggs. Sunny side up or down, you ask. Always down, I answer. The sun on its belly, so I can't see it, I answer. Slit the yellow yolk and let the sun bleed into nothingness. Sunny side up or down, spør du. Alltid ned, svarer jeg. Sola på magen, så jeg ikke kan se den, svarer jeg. Den gule plomma, stikk hull på den, svarer jeg. La sola blø utover og forsvinne.
The father is missing. He probably never liked to have his picture taken, or maybe he's hiding behind the camera. The mother is also missing. She probably got tired of posing without her husband, or maybe she's in the kitchen or in front of a mirror. The children are also missing. The son could be in the army or lives with his in-laws. The daughter could be living somewhere overseas. The grandfather is also missing. He has probably long ago departed from this world. Perhaps that's why the grandmother holds the old family portrait just like mothers hold their baby or kids hold their doll.
Late at night, she saw headlights coming along the coast road. She was curled up in her hair, her chair, trembling from the cold, but her jacket was in her suitcase, and she didn't want to go inside to get it. She didn't want to wake him. She knew he would wake up on his own at some point during the night. She was sure to hear him shouting. On this last night in the house, he would wake up shouting again from some dream, for sure. Eminent domain. The truck turned left and started up the dirt road, growling up the hill, then stopped in front of the gate. The driver's side and passenger side doors opened at exactly the same moment. The man stepped out and glanced into the yard. She couldn't tell if they saw her sitting there, but if they did, they saw no sign of it. They took something out of the truck and then came over to the wall and started to loosen the stones and load them onto the bed of the truck. She curled up even tighter in her chair and wrapped her arms around her bare legs, and in the darkness saw her skin filling with countless tiny goosebumps, countless blind eyes. Eminent domain. She watched as the man walked back and forth through the beams of the truck's headlights. They would work a stone loose from the wall and carry it to the bed of the truck and then come back for another. They worked calmly, without rushing, without fear. One of them said something and they both laughed, and the laugh seemed to echo between the trees and the shadows of trees, and Nikki saw new eyes, blind eyes, sprouting from her skin. And then, when they left, when the truck rolled back down the dirt road and went out in the main road and disappeared, raising a cloud of red dust, Nikki lifted her head and saw all the stars in the sky, without really looking at any of them. The stars are the sky's eyes. What a fairy tale. The sky has no eyes. It's blind, blind, blind. And she reached the hand toward the stars like a beggar and held her arms stretched out like that for a long time. And when it got tired, she lowered her arm, and with it her gaze, and she stared at the low stone wall, at the terrible gap those loosened stones had left in the wall. Κομμάτι κομμάτι μου παίρνουν τον κόσμο μου. Piece by piece, they take my world away.
Should I read? I don't want to read. This is Sofia, sorry. Не зная как да почне и не знам доколко ще съм точен, но пък вие сте еляци, поне не сте селяци. Май се нещо аз вълнувам, но сте щедри и с думи ви, така сте ни завили, да не може да се скрием. Но да кажем, ето в скрин днес намерих кокаин и си казах, чакай, стой, има някакъв герой, който из тепетата върлува, диша, слуша и се чуди, сега забравям, че надолу съм писал. Върлува, няма значение. Де му изчезнала амброзията и със сигурност невроза го е хванала сега, броди той в една трева, но ние няма никак да го съдим. Той човек е рисуван, но е просто разрушителен, също пие покъртително. This is funny.
The woman in the crumbling house near the motorway is reading a book called Responsibility. Her husband is dead. His body is decaying in the small upstairs room at the back of the house. How long has he been there? How should I know? The teenagers soon get bored and wander off to throw stones at the windows of abandoned factories. She starts drinking port each morning at 11 o'clock. On Tuesdays and Thursdays she waits till noon. I imagine she's happy, though that's not what the others say. Loneliness, despair, these are experiences for the young, she thinks. Good to be done with all that. She believes herself to be free, and who am I to argue? Sleep is the cousin of death, her husband used to say. It had always annoyed her, and now look at him. In the afternoons she wanders out beyond the motorway, dusty industrial wasteland, a shattered poetry. Maybe I'll find a pet, she thinks. Then she laughs. Those drug-addled teenagers used to take photographs here with antique cameras, she recalls, and have those parties where they got up to who knows what. You couldn't tell girls from boys anymore. Everything was melting together. She was tired of this world and its demands. One night, she takes a train into the city. She watches a show in a theatre that is all but empty. A few scattered perverts, winos, junkies, couples looking for careless kicks. The show is incomprehensible. She's not even sure which language they're speaking, if indeed it is a language. A woman walks out onto the stage, bathed in blue light. She begins to sing, with no instruments playing, only a voice, a strange song with a melody that reminds her of certain anguished faces from decades ago. Halfway through the song, the singer falters. Her voice breaks down. She is weeping softly. Now a man appears on the stage. He's wearing a navy suit. His eyes look satanic. He peers at each member of the audience in turn. When he looks at the woman, he pauses for a moment, and then he says, "This piece has now concluded." This
going to have a discussion. As Ivan said, there will be a discussion. Thank you so very much, everyone. While we are arranging the chairs, please think about your questions, and I'm ready to ask or we have questions to everyone to think about. Before we open it for questions, we can handle Bulgarian or English, and we have interpreter. So my question for everyone is, what was the most challenging part for you in this process? What do you can think about? Briefly. Who has the mic? Okay, so maybe you can answer first.
Okay.
Can I ask everyone to say their name?
Въпросът е кой беше най-трудната част от процеса.
Okay, hello everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Rob Doyle, I'm a writer from Ireland. The most challenging
Благодаря, че дойдохте. Аз съм Вазов от Германия.
The most challenging thing for me was I've never written live before. I've never written in public, and usually I find my stuff dreadfully embarrassing to show people until it's at a very high standard. So
За мен най-трудното беше, че никога до сега не съм писала на живо и винаги малко ме е било срам да показвам публиките си пред хората.
So I enjoyed the challenge of having all the mistakes and the bad parts seen by the public. It was like one of those dreams from childhood where you go into school and then you realize you forgot to put on your trousers.
И беше много голямо предизвикателство и ми хареса това нещо да видим как публиката вижда и грешките ми. И това беше малко като тези сънища от детството, в които сънуваш, че отиваш в училище и си отиваш по-белял.
Hello, my name is Vladimir. For me, the most challenging part of our adventure was how to find some link between our texts. And when we gathered in the Red House in Sofia, when we had the first rehearsal, the first meeting actually, for us the most challenging moment maybe was to find a way how to find a concept of our common performance. And one of
За мен най-трудната част беше да намеря връзката между нашите творби. Когато се събрахме на репетиция в Червената къща в София, беше най-трудно да намерим нещо общо в работата.
Because as you could see tonight, but also in Sofia, we are all writing different texts, different genres, we have all different approaches. And for
Както виждате сега и в София беше същото, ние всички работим в различни жанрове, пишем по различен начин.
Yes, and it was a nice challenge for all of us, including me, of course. And we were thinking maybe to use one, let's say, model from Virginia Woolf, the novel called The Waves.
И всички решихме да използваме един роман на Вирджиния Вулф, наречен Вълните.
We didn't quote Virginia Woolf, but in a way, that was a model of the structure of our performance, and of course, I hope you like the result. Thank you.
Не сме цитирали Вирджиния Вулф, но сме използвали като модел за структурата на нашето представление и се надявам, че на вас всички ви е харесало.
Do you like it? Did you? Okay.
The most difficult, well, it was surprisingly undifficult. The most difficult was maybe reading the program before arriving in Sofia and reading that we were supposed to have the first performance after 3 days. I thought, whoa, I'm used to...
Не трудно, всъщност най-трудното беше преди да дойдем изобщо в София и да знаем, че ще пристигнем в София и след 3 дни ще имаме представление.
I thought that's impossible. And then we met as a group, and the first day I still thought it was kind of impossible, but then already the next day it was very possible, and then every moment more and more possible, and these strangers became more and more non-strangers, and now I feel like, wow, how incredibly quickly you become a group and you have to work together.
Когато се срещнахме, започна да става все по-малко трудно. С всеки час изминал се оказа, че задачата не е толкова трудна и се оказа, че сме се събрали една група от непознати, които в един момент ставаме близки.
Аз конкретно за сега и по принцип всъщност, много тъпо начало. Аз отначало бях изпратил разказ.
Initially I had sent a short story.
Но се оказа, че ние в София бяхме 3 човека с разкази и Владко, който е с поезия, и решихме сме 50 на 50 и там ние нямаше това писане на живо и там четох стихотворения.
And it turned out that there were 3 persons who had sent short stories, so with Vladko we decided to split 50-50.
Тук това беше някакво просто, не знам, извинявам се, аз се лигавих.
And here it was, I want to apologize, I was being silly.
I was playing. Просто реших, че нали, тъй като Рок пише в проза, може би аз трябва добре да пиша поезия, а така с римите мога да се захващаш една за друга, въпреки всички нали, излишен материал, който се появява и такива неща, дето ти нямаш време да изчистиш.
So, because Rob was doing the prose, I started playing with rhymes and choosing, finding connections.
Но наистина е много хубаво, че ние не се познахме преди много скоро време и някак толкова бързо се сработихме хора. Това е просто, ние в София за 3 дни направихме перформанс, тук направихме още 2 репетиции и направихме това.
And it is amazing that until recently we were total strangers, but we worked very well together, and with 3 rehearsals in Sofia and 2 in Plovdiv we achieved a lot.
И искам да благодаря също на Роко и на Димитър за тяхното участие във всичко това.
I would also like to thank Rossen and Dimitar for their participation.
I think the biggest challenge is try to act natural. That means to make mistakes. So I made a lot of them. So I think the challenge was met by me. It was very fun.
Трудност беше, че ние трябваше да играем естествено, т.е. да правим и грешки. И аз мисля, че направих доста грешки и се справих с тази трудност.
Аз споделям на Ели мнението, че по-скоро не мога да открия някакви трудности. Също така...
Edith's opinion that I cannot find challenges.
И беше лесно в смисъл, че имах пълна свобода и доверие от групата.
It was easy because I had total freedom and trust on the part of my colleagues in the group.
И можех да си позволя да съм колкото си искам. Сериозен и какво казвате? Или да се лигават също?
So I could afford to be as serious as I liked or as playful or silly as I liked, as my colleagues say.
Така че благодаря ви за доверието.
Thank you for the trust that you displayed.
Значи, ако не бях аз толкова реформа се не добил.
Между другото, след това ще ви дадем имейл на Димитър и ще може да си закупите за 500 лева. В голям прик. Ще се разберете с него.
Микрофон е ваш.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jonas from Berlin, and we came together from Berlin to Sofia, Bulgaria, and Plovdiv to see the Plovdiv 2019. And I read the program, and I was asking myself when you were playing, to which extent the northern, western, eastern, and southern culture of Europe influenced your working together, your cultures, where you come from, and how it mingled up to a European piece.
Is the question for everyone?
Is the question for
The northernmost. No, the northernmost is northern Macedonia. It's north, it's saying.
North is coming. North is coming.
It's not something that we discussed very consciously, but I think that we are all bringing, just by our presence maybe, and we're also using all the languages in the piece. So even if I don't feel in many ways as a representative of Norway, because I've been living all over the world and many countries have influenced me, there's still maybe something that I cannot name, I cannot put a word on, but that I bring into my work subconsciously. So I think that's... Yes, it was for me much more an organic process, not calculated, but I'm sure that there is a little flavor of these different countries and different traditions, maybe. But at the same time, the opposite, because we're all just also humans that have traveled the world, all of us. So something beyond countries.
I guess I'm, personally speaking, I'm an Irish writer, but one who almost all of my influences are my inspiration more than influences, and my passion is for Europe, all of Europe except for Ireland, you know. Like I live in your city now, I live in Berlin, and I still really love and feel very close to this kind of slightly old-fashioned idea of the good European, you know. That's so. So this whole mixing concept is very invigorating to me.
Every Shopov has another place of birth, and also our works as well. I will tell you about the text I have chosen for tonight. For instance, the poem about the family portrait has been written in Paris, in the Museum of Photography.
Всеки един от нас е роден в различно място, а също и творбите ни са писани на различни места. Парчето, което аз представям тук, поемата Семейен портрет, беше написана в Париж.
The poems about awakening in another form of life, they were written in the US, for instance.
Поемите, които са написани за събуждане в друга форма на живот, са писани в Съединените щати.
But at the same time, I was writing them in my native language.
Но пък ги писах на моя роден език.
Which is also linked with the patterns which are musical as well.
Който пък е свързан с музикални схеми.
And talking about music tonight, you have heard also, thanks to our friend Rossen, we have heard sounds from very different instruments, not only European instruments. And he also played instruments, he combined clarinet and kaval, which is an excellent example of combining different approaches towards music in Europe.
И благодарение на участието на нашия колега Росен, той комбинира различни музикални инструменти, кларинет и кавал и инструменти, които не са само от Европа.
And also we have heard kalimba, instrument coming from Africa.
Чухме един инструмент от Африка, калимба.
So we cannot imagine European culture without Asia, Africa, without the new continents as well, because the whole world is one big world and everything is connected, especially nowadays.
Не можем да си представяме Европа без Африка и Азия, защото целият свят е едно взаимно свързане на глобално село.
And I also hope that our performance we did it in a very organic way, as you just put it.
И се надявам, че нашия перформанс беше много добре съчетан.
This melting of different languages, cultures, rhythms, experiences.
Различни езици, култури, ритми и преживявания.
Thank you.
Ами аз мисля, че поне на нас бившите хора, родините са ни езика, на който работим.
I think that we as writers work with the tool of language.
Не мога да отрека, че по определени обстоятелства човек се влияе от страната, която израства и от климата и от всичко.
Deny that a person is influenced by the country that he grows up in and the climate as well.
Но ние всички сме човешки същества, независимо къде сме израснали и до някаква степен границите са много тъпо и глупаво нещо.
But before everything, we are human beings, no matter where we grew up, and borders are a dumb thing anyway.
И хубавото нещо на изкуството е, че когато някакви хора правят нещо заедно, независимо дали театър, музика или каквото и да е, тези граници падат.
And the fine thing about art is that when people do something together, regardless what genre they work in, these boundaries disappear.
So for me it was very easy to work with the rest of the group, although I hadn't met no one before.
За мен беше много лесно да работя с всички в групата, макар че не ги познавах преди това.
And I guess the reason for this is that what brings us together, all the things that brings us together are more than the things that, are more than our differences.
И причината, поради която беше лесно да се работи заедно, е, че нещата, които не свързват, са повече отколкото нещата, които не разделят.
And the most important thing for me is that, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed it very much, so that was...
И най-важното за мен, не знам за вас как беше, но за мен важното беше, че много ми хареса.
And I would like to thank you and all of the people here for that, because it's a unique experience every time. And I appreciate it very much.
Вас, защото това беше уникално преживяване и ви благодаря.
Ами те е толкова изчерпателни, аз не знам дали ще може нещо да кажа смислено, но...
Everybody said so much, such a
Може да го изследваш.
comprehensive answer. I don't know what else I can add. He says you can play it.
I just want to... Само да спомена поне това, което ме
What I want to mention,
инспирира най-много беше
what inspired me most,
чух, когато ги слушах да говорят на техните езици, което...
when I heard you speak in your own languages.
Езици, които аз не разбирам, особено
Languages that
норвежки.
I don't understand.
Това за мен вече аз го възприемам като музика, предполагам, че за вас
It sounded to me like music.
като песен, защото всеки език си има мелодия.
Because every language has a tune to it.
И това ми беше абсолютно достатъчно, за да аз не трябваше да правя нищо екстра, за да се вдъхнува. Това беше вече ситуация, в която аз бях вдъхновен от ритъма и мелодията на техните езици.
I was inspired by the rhythm of your languages.
I just actually want to add something, or maybe reiterate what you said, because actually I was the one who selected countries, and I'm very pleased with your answers, because that was the first thing that I did the mapping, and my idea was to invite countries that have different relationship to Europe and kind of show that all this EU and bureaucracy is extrinsic, and when people meet and work together, and that Europe is bigger than the EU. So thank you for this. And actually, we are always super critical to institutions. And when Simona and I we were submitting the projects, we almost bet that the project won't be approved, because last year we included UK, Divorcee, and Macedonia wannabe. So they were exactly EU-centered countries, and when you apply to these projects, you get points. So we actually, with some countries, we gain points, and with other countries like UK and Macedonia, we lose points. But I just want to thank the institutions who actually trusted this project and accepted our argument, so they funded this project.
Сега малко да резюмирам казаното. Много ми хареса въпроса и много ми харесаха отговорите ви, защото аз бях тази, която избираше държавите, които да бъдат поканени да участват в проекта, и макар че ние обикновено критично гледаме на институциите, все пак има държави, които дават повече точки, други, които дават по-малко. Миналата година Англия и Македония дават по-малко точки, а сега също сме благодарни, че успяхме да получим финансиране по проекта. А за Ирландия получихте допълнителни точки?
I think Ireland for now gives points.
Ирландия дава точки.
So, and another thing, as you know, we are a literary organization, so with such limited time, which is of course downside, you know,
Ние сме литературна организация и макар че имахме много ограничено време,
and of course translation is an important part of our work, so that was another aspect. So I was expecting that the simplest scheme is you have literature and all other art, like visual arts and music, are secondary, and they serve literature, they amplify literature.
Ние смятаме, като литературна организация, смятаме, че литературата е на първо място, а другите визуални изкуства и музиката само допълват нея. И превода е естествена част от нашата работа.
But I wasn't right. I saw how actually Dimitar sees things and how Rossen hears literature, and I think they were.
И видях как Димитър вижда нещата по негови начин, как Росен чува по различен начин.
And that was an amazing dialogue, very intrinsic. the way I experience it. So I just want to say one huge thank you to everyone. And if there are any more questions. Silence is the answer.
Извинявай, видях това за 45 минути, извинявай.
Was just the Milena, the questions for you. When you selected these guys, was it in the job description? Was it just the countries, or was there some other factor involved, like the level of craziness? I don't know, something peculiar about the way you selected them, because they were really, really organic in what they did.
Okay.
They merged really very seamlessly.
Very quick snapshot of the relationship network. Vladimir, so we work with many translators, and one of our translators, I wrote her recommendation letter for Iowa residents, and I asked her, what are you working on? And she sent me her translations, and I like it, and I was like, oh, we're looking for someone from Macedonia, great. Then dropped oil, and I was looking for Irish writers, so I asked different partners and writers that I know, because he specifically looked, so we were reading different writers, so how I came across his work.
Начинът, по който стигнахме до хората с Владимир и Владимир първо беше препоръчан от преводачка, с която работим, която превежда неговите разкази и тя ми даде да го прочета и аз се харесах по този начин. С Роб трябваше ни ирландски писател и разгледах се и го намерих.
Ivan sent me to a reading of E.G. Pop in New York. She was conversing with Siri Hustvedt. So that's how she came, and then I said, oh, at least let's have one safe relationship because they have worked together. So I said, I will invite Ivan because they already work very well together. Then one of the premier publishers of literature and translation in UK, a small, very nice, good publisher, Archipelago, I followed their book, so I came across Christos' work, and also it was very much aligning with the theme about Europe. I read his two short story collections, and Rossen I know from almost my youth.
When he was crazy.
And yes, and so I been to many concerts, and I actually adore his way of improvisation. So that's how he came. I thought he would be perfect for this environment. And Dimitar was his name came up after extensive research into the visual arts scene in Sofia and in Plovdiv, because that's not my field, although I love it, but like a fan. So he came on the top of the list.
Translation.
С Димитър се... Неговото име излезе като човек, който се занимава с визуални изкуства, макар че аз съм само фен, не съм дълбоко навлезнала в тази сфера. С Христос прочетах негови разкази, които ми харесаха. С Росен се познаваме от младежките ни години.
Round of applause.